This is your Barbados Today evening update for Thursday, June 22. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Thanks for joining us. We begin with news of an unnatural death in Matchfield, St. Philip. A man in his mid to late 20s is said to have died after being attacked by a swarm of bees around 1:52 p.m. today. Police Relations Officer Acting Inspector Roland Cobbler says police received a report about the attack, but on arrival found the man unresponsive. He was later pronounced dead at the scene. In other news, the statistics are in and they are quite alarming. Over the last 4 years, criminal activity among juveniles between the ages of 11 and 15 is on the rise. Word of this from Director of the Criminal Justice Research and Planning Unit in the Attorney General's Office, Cheryl Willoughby, as she addressed a panel discussion at the Barbados Olympic Association entitled Sports as a Way Out of Poverty, put on as part of their World Olympic Day week of activities.
Between 2012 and 2013, there was a 35% increase in the total number of crimes committed by juveniles between 11 and 15 years old. Now, you have 11 and 15 as juveniles because in Barbados, the age of liability, criminal liability is 11. Anybody under 11 is deemed duly incapable of committing a crime. Previous to 2012, we had the age of criminal liability being as low as 7, but we are moving now in terms of the rights of the child. So we are moving that age group even further, and within the next year or so, you will see that age group move up a bit to age 12, where the age of criminal liability now will increase in keeping with international standards. But that is not to say that children under 11 years old are not committing crime. They are, but they are dealt with in a therapeutic way where they receive counseling, etc., and not interfacing with partners, professionals within the criminal justice. But we deem it to be important for us to still identify the magnitude of the problem. Assaults, wounding represented the most popular category of offenses by juveniles. Assault woundings was the category with the greatest percentage increase between 2012 to 2016, with a 41% increase, and we are seeing it on our streets.
Willoughby is also concerned that the number of girls appearing before the court for criminal offenses is also on the increase.
And females, they're not exempted from the situation. We have young girls who are also engaged in violent behavior on our streets and within our schools. When we examine now the 16 to 18 age group, and these are all age groups that I'm sure you want to target with the association, because people like me are 50 enough, and I won't say how much. We are past the age now of becoming Olympic stars. So you need to target the younger ones who don't have arthritis in their knees and in their backs, etc. But those who have all the energy and the vitality to make it to the top.
Amid reports of government's planned rollback on the National Social Responsibility Levy on basic food items, an electronic retailer is calling for similar consideration for computers and cell phones. Chief Executive Officer of Promotech, Kailash Pardasani, last night told the ceremony marking Barbados' entry into the Internet Governance Forum at the Errol Barrow Center for Creative Imagination that access to affordable computers and phones are crucial to Barbados maintaining a competitive edge at the global level.
For Barbados to remain economically viable, we will have to continue to think and compete globally, and that means raising standards, keeping up with technology, incorporating innovation, and hence staying ahead of the curve. We rely heavily on government's policy writers to work alongside the private sector to guarantee the success of our country and our people. It would be remiss of me not to bring up the very recent budget and the possible impact of this on innovation and technology. We understand that tough decisions need to be made by the government in order to sustain the country's viability. However, taxing duty-free items such as laptops and desktops, and also further taxing devices such as smartphones, only hinders our long-term growth as a country. I humbly request these policy writers, as our successful Caribbean counterparts have done, to place priority on removing these taxes and to make all smartphones duty-free so that we Barbadians have continued access to the best technology that exists. We will then continue to strive to be the most beautiful and well-connected island in the globe.
However, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for communication, Darcy Boyce, appears unlikely to favor the demand. He responded by saying that the private sector must bear some of the island's tax burden.
There's been an ongoing sound by the phone companies and the ICT companies. First, they're off all duties of these things. I only pose the question to them every so often when they're telling me that. And who will take the burden that you now carry? Everybody has to carry some burden in this society.
Back to school shoppers need not fear the July 1 implementation of the National Social Responsibility Levy. Woolworth says there will be no increase on back-to-school items this time around. Managing Director of Woolworth, Martin Byron, explains that the store has received its shipment of school supplies and therefore the NSRL will not be applied.
For our back-to-school program, which is going to start, well, school ends next week, we have gotten all of our goods, well, I say all, I would say 90% of our goods will be in before that day. So the 10% will not be an issue. Our prices will not be going up by that amount because we would have landed them before July 1.
Brian, however, revealed there will be price hikes on other offerings because of the tax, which moves from 2% to 10%.
This is going to significantly affect the average Barbadian across Barbados. It is going to hurt them straight in the pocket. It is a very, very prohibitive tax. It is going to curb sales. And you know, when business and is a twofold, because our costs of our goods are going to go up significantly, and our cost of doing business is going to go up.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Good morning, Phillips & Company, may I help? Oh, certainly. One moment, please. Miss Phillips?
Yeah?
There's a lady on the line from the Nation newspaper who would like to speak with you.
The Nation? Will she go on?
Well, they're trying to sell us some ads.
Look, don't make me laugh this morning. Ads in the Nation? They're real expensive, and for what here, nobody ain't buying them papers no more. Nobody want to steal news. I hear reading Barbados Today online for free. So I tell she thanks for calling, but no thanks. We just advertising Barbados Today, families. Tell she is Barbados Today all the way.
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Ma'am, are you still there? Oh, she put down.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
News from the region now. Bahamian Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis takes the former Perry Christie administration to task over what he says is a number of questionable contracts during its time of office. The Prime Minister told parliamentarians during his wrap-up of the 2017-2018 budget debate that he has been reviewing several contracts worth millions of dollars which were paid out to vendors within a short period of time. Janine Noel Ferguson of ZNS reports.
During his review of payments to vendors following Hurricane Matthew, the transaction of more than $8 million to one particular vendor stood out. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis disclosed the information in Parliament Tuesday night, noting that undoubtedly it would take the average person a considerable amount of time to receive payment from government. But this vendor in question was able to receive multiple payouts in one day.
On the 20th, he got a check for $206,400. But then he came back that afternoon on the 20th and got another check for $220,912. But that wasn't enough. He came back on the 20th and got another check for $225,750. Then he came back on the 26th of January, and got a check for $206,400. I could provide this to you. Don't write, it's all here. Then he came back the 26th again, he good. And got another check for $195,900. Then the 26th he came back and got another check for $226,800.
But the Prime Minister said it did not end there. The same vendor also received more payments.
But I'd just say the day before election on the 9th of May, he got $151,524.
And finally, a 60-year-old former U.S. diplomatic officer has been arrested and charged for giving top-secret documents to a Chinese agent. According to a BBC report, an affidavit showed that Kevin Mallory, who is from Virginia, reportedly traveled to Shanghai in March and April this year. Custom agents at the Chicago airport interviewed him after he failed to declare $16,500 in cash found in 2 carry-on bags. And on that note, we come to the end of our news, but there is more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can tune in to Mix 96.9 FM to get all the very latest. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.